So I guarantee that every single client that comes on with me adds an extra $50,000 per month, or they just get their money back, they don't pay. And the reason that I emphasize this is because our clients have been getting some insanely good results recently, adding an extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K per month. And in this video, what I want to do is give you a full guide to actually delivering results for SMMA clients. So how you can actually get results for your clients, how to make sure they're happy, how to not have, angry Slack messages, angry clients asking you where are the results, so that you can be in a situation where you have happy clients, they're getting great results, they're sending you referrals, and they just want to be working with you month over month. And what I want to do is share my story from going from the point where clients are asking for refunds, I have constant anxiety, clients not getting great results, to the point where almost every single one of my clients is adding an extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K per month. So the first thing that I want to do is walk you through my story of going from honestly very bad at service delivery to getting to the point where our clients are getting insanely good results with our program. And when I was first starting out around 2 years ago, to set the scene, I was fresh out of high school. I decided not to go to university because I wanted to make the business work. So I took a gap year. I was just focusing on, getting my first clients, working on the business. And what I did was I started my lead generation agency. So I was helping marketing agencies to get more bookings. And to do this, I was doing outbound for them. I was sending messages on LinkedIn, on email. I would get them in contact with potential prospects, get them onto calls. They would close the deal and then they would make money. And that was the service delivery. So the reason that I chose offering lead gen for marketing agencies, it was so that in order to learn the skills that I wanted for myself, which was marketing and sales, learning how to book meetings, how to close deals, when I learned those skills, I could immediately transfer those skills as service delivery for my clients, right? And I thought this was a genius model because I would just have to learn this once and then I'd get results. So what happened was I actually signed clients very easily, right, at around $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 setup, and then they just pay me whenever they get bookings after that. And as a side note, this is what we teach to our clients right now. We just help them get to 10, 20K as fast as possible. And if you want more info on that, you can just check the description. But besides that, as I was signing my first clients on, I immediately saw that while it was the same delivery, I was booking meetings for them, I was helping them close deals, it was very different. There were a lot of nuances, they were working in different niches, so it wasn't exactly the same. So when I was doing this for the first few clients, honestly, the first 5 to 10 clients, the results weren't even that great. Luckily, the first client that came on, I was using LinkedIn for him. I was sending outreach, getting him bookings. He actually closed the deal very luckily, and he was happy. So then I started signing, let's say 2, 3 more clients on. And at this point, this is when the results started to drop. So what happened was, besides the fact that, it was a new niche, it was different delivery, different offers, things like that, I also had my attention split between multiple people. So let's say I had 3 clients on, they were all getting great results, they were happy. And then I had another 3 that was on who weren't getting great results. Regardless, because I was doing everything, I was focused on the entire thing. I was focused on delivering results for these 3 and for these 3 and booking my own meetings and my own sales calls. So because of this, my attention was so scattered that every single one of the clients' results started to drop. So for the stupidest reasons, like I remember a point where I was running campaigns, it was an outbound email campaigns, and for 2 months, I was wondering why the campaign wasn't working, right? And every single day I would be like, why? I would ignore it and I would just go to something else. And what happened was every week I would get these messages from my clients and they were like, hey, Ethan, I just want to check where are the results? How's everything going? Is everything okay? Can we get onto a call? And I would just have this terrible feeling in my chest thinking oh, these clients, they're going to hate me. They're going to ask for a refund. Some of them did. And obviously I just gave the money back, but it's not a great feeling. So every single day you're waking up, you're checking Slack or whatever messaging tool that you use with your clients, and you just see these angry messages. So for 2 months, this campaign wasn't getting results, and this is for a marketing agency. And then after a while, I was talking to one of my friends, and they were like, let me just take a look at the campaign, right? They were doing the same thing as me, lead generation. They checked my campaign, and what they saw is for the last 2 months, new leads haven't been added to the campaign, right? Imagine this. You're running a campaign, you need to put new people into it, and you send messages to them. I wasn't putting new people into it. So it's crazy. But because my attention was so split because of the situation, nothing was happening. So they were getting a couple of bookings from old follow-ups, but the new ones, nothing was happening. So it got to that point. It was that bad. So there were instances where I would get angry client messages. It would be terrible. People would ask for refunds. I would have to send money to them. Then it was I just spent 3 months trying to deliver results. I got paid the whole time. I paid my team. I paid the software. Then they asked for a refund. Then I just send it back. So it was I just wasted 3 months. So all of these things are happening. And I'm just at the point where it's terrible. So a few things had to change, or else I was just gonna, I don't really say burn out, but I would just get so annoyed that I'd stop with everything. So what happened was, I'm gonna share what the lessons were coming up now, but it got to the point where the complete shift changed to the point where, my clients are happy, getting great results. I wake up wanting to actually check Slack because I see these happy messages. Every single call that I get into with clients, they're like, oh man, this changed my business. I'm so grateful for it. The results are fantastic. And I see all these daily case studies, these daily testimonials. It's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is share the lessons that I learned to be able to massively get the results up, but at the same time, get the results up while getting myself out of the day-to-day. So at this point, I'm getting better results than ever, but I'm not doing any of the work. My team's doing all of this. It's all automated, right? So what I'm going to do is share exactly how I did this and how you can do the same for your agency right now. So there's two parts to this guide. The first is called finding proof of concept, and the second is called scaling. Now, starting with finding proof of concept, what this means is that you're looking for an instance where you've delivered results for a client successfully. So everything up until you get to this point, you need to be testing. So let's say you've gotten your first client on, you're still trying to figure out how to deliver results. So this phase is called the proof of concept phase. And what you're doing here is you're constantly testing different things to get to the point where finally you get the outcome that you want. Whether this is getting more leads for your client, whether this is helping them add an extra 20K, whether it's anything else. We just need to get to the point where you've delivered results successfully for one person. So to give you some context, this is me when I signed my first client, when I was really just trying to determine what works, how do I get results in his specific situation. So the things that help me the most, if you're in this situation, if you're in the stage now where you've got your first handful of clients, you haven't gotten results yet, it's perfectly fine, and you're just testing a whole lot of different things, you're doing this for the first time, the thing that helped me the most was understanding three things: offer, attention, and measurement. Now, the offer is going to apply to every single business, right? So I assume you're helping businesses now. If not, you're helping coaches, you're helping consultants, whatever it might be. But regardless, every single one of these businesses or coaches, they have an offer. Okay, and the offer is what they're presenting to the market. It's their product, but it's how the product is presented. So for example, to give you something more tangible, I was helping an SEO marketing agency. And when he was first starting out, his main offer was that, hey, I'll help you with SEO. But obviously, helping with SEO is so common. There's thousands and thousands of people that offer the exact same thing. So how are you going to stand out versus everyone else? So the first thing I did with him when I was struggling to get results was I actually read the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. Very good book. And what it did was it showed me how I can take what he's doing already, the SEO, but how can I present it in the best way possible so that I get the most attention, I get the most leads, I get the most clients signed, and this is going to act as the foundation to everything that they do. So, for example, I took the SEO agency, and instead of saying, hey, we do SEO, I said, hey, so he was typically helping, I think it was dentists. So I would say, hey, we help dentists add an extra $10,000 a month and generate 100 extra leads on a complete pay and results basis because he had a guarantee in there. So by changing the presentation in that way, it 10x the amount of leads that we got, 10x the amount of bookings, and 5x the amount of sales that he got in terms of client sign. So that is the first component, just building the offer. So what I would do is in your situation is look at what you're marketing right now and try and present that offer in the best way. I would actually read Hormozi's book on that. Is very good. The second component is attention. Now, it could be the case that you have a good offer, you have something that people want, and a good indication of this is if people are already signing up, right? If you already have a system that's generating leads, that's generating sales, it could just be a case that you need to do more of what's already working. So I had a campaign running that is for a marketing agency offering lead generation via Facebook and Google ads for local businesses. So he was helping, let's say, plumbers, and he was helping restaurants to get more leads. And I was running a campaign for them, helping them to get more appointments. And it was via email. And we were sending around 100 messages per day, and he was getting 1 booking per day. So we wanted to scale things up. We wanted to get to at least 3 bookings per day. And before realizing this, what I did was I would test all these different angles. How can I say this differently? How can I target different people? How can I do this? But what I realized was I could just 3x the volume. And by 3xing the volume, we got 3 times the bookings. So the attention component means that you have the offer. It's just a matter of getting more people to see it. And if you can do that, then essentially, you can get more of what you're already getting. So think to yourself, is it the case that no one's buying, whatever you're offering now in terms of your clients' results? you're getting no interest. If that, then optimize the offer. If people are already signing up, if you're already running outbound, if you're already running ads and people are buying, then you just need more attention to that thing. And then finally, while you're going throughout this entire process, the third component, measurement, just means that whatever you're testing, you need to measure. So when I run outbound campaigns, let's say I'm running a LinkedIn outbound campaign and I'm sending outreach messages to marketing agencies. What I would do is I would test one message for at least 100 sends, and only then I would change it. So even if 100 out of the 100 messages I sent were like, this is the worst message I've ever seen in my life, this is bad, take me off your list. Even if I got that, I would still test the 100 messages just because I know that I need enough data to make the decision. Because if I got 95 negative responses, but I got 5 bookings from that, it's a 5% appointment booking rate, and that's good metrics, and I can scale that. So for every single thing that you do, you need to make sure that you're testing enough and you're measuring the differences. So let's say you run one script, you only run one script. And then if you feel like you need to change it, then you change one thing. So for example, the headline or the call to action, nothing else. You change one thing. And that's only after sending enough. Okay? So making sure that you track every single thing that you do so that you can actually measure the progress. And this is what you can actually use to communicate with your clients at the same time. So instead of being like to your client, we tried some messages and it didn't really work, and they'll be like, okay, like what results did you get? And you'll be like, I don't know, like I sent like a lot. They'll be like, what are you talking about? So in your delivery, if it's a situation that you're still not getting results yet, you're still finding proof of concept, the least that you can do is use the data, use the tracking, and send it to your clients in a report on the meeting so that you can say, hey, so I've tried this, it got around 5 bookings out of 100 sent. I've tried this, it's gotten around 6 bookings, so we're going to run with this one, we're going to scale it, and I'll update you on what happens. That is how you can take the approach. That's how you can present it to your clients and just give them a better experience overall. So until you find proof of concept, you're going to keep testing until you get to that point. And once you do, then you can move to the scale phase. So at this point in it, you've already delivered results for one client, and now you've signed on more, right? And what usually happens when I speak to our clients, they're usually between, let's say, 3 and 20,000 per month. Their major issue is that they're still involved in the day-to-day. And because of that, their clients are getting worse results. They don't have time to get more clients. They lose clients. Then they spend their time getting more clients, and they end up plateauing at like 20 to 30K per month, even less sometimes. So what I tell them most of the time is that the reason that they're not able to scale beyond 20, 30, 40, 50K per month, or even 10K per month, is because they're still involved in every task. Because all of their attention is going to their current client list, they can't spend any time getting new clients. And if they get more, then the time is 100% taken. So then it's like, how else are you going to get new bookings if your time's 100% taken in delivery? Then they spend the time doing that. One client eventually churns. They start doing outbound again. They get another client in, and they're 100% taken again. So it's like they're in this endless loop of just being stuck, and the solution is to get out. Because imagine right now, you're working in the machine, right? You're doing all the things yourself. You're just focused. You just got your blinders on. You're not looking at anything else. Most likely, it's going to be a lot more difficult to improve the entire system, seeing it as a whole, if you're just stuck in this little part of it. So the first thing that you need to do is start getting out of the tasks. And this is going to be the first step to actually getting better delivery. Because the thing is, if you're able to deliver results for one person, but then when you get more people on, the results go down, it's not because you forgot how to deliver or because you're bad. It's because you're trying to do the thing that you did once across 7 to 10 different other people, right? The bottleneck here isn't your skill. It's the operational capacity of you, right? The amount of capacity that you have to do work, to give attention. And this is where most people mess up. So the first and most important step of what you're going to do to actually get out so that you can look at the system as a whole and get better results is by documenting everything that you're doing. Now, what this simply looks like is using a tool like Notion, using a tool like ClickUp, using a tool like Google Drive, and just putting it on Google Docs, and just recording yourself on when you're delivering results for your clients. So let's say it takes you around 5 hours to onboard a new client. And what that involves is you getting their data, you asking follow-up questions, and then you setting up their Go High-Level account, their Facebook Ads Manager account, all these different things, sourcing leads, whatever it might be. And you spend 5 hours doing that. The first thing you can do is just understand and document the things that you're doing. So it's like, okay, once someone signs up, they have to fill out this Google form. Once they fill that out, they usually have some questions. Then They go into I have to set up the go high level, I have to set up the ads manager. All that has to be done. It takes me around 5 hours. So just by you documenting that, it allows you to get someone else in to do this for you. So let's say you pay a VA $3 an hour, and this is for 5 hours, so it'll cost you around $15. What you can do is you can use a tool like Loom and Notion, and you can just click record on Loom while you're doing the thing already, right? You're not doing any additional work. You don't have to spend time documenting it. You're just doing what you're already doing, turning on a screen recorder, and then once you're done, you put it in Notion. And then you just write out any additional points, like when you do this, do this. Or as soon as they fill out the onboarding form, then you start on the ads manager. Just putting that there and getting a $3 an hour VA to follow this process for you can save you 5 hours every single week. And if you say, let's say your hourly rate is $50 an hour, right? That's honestly very low if you run a business right now. But let's say you charge $50 per hour for your time. That's around $250 saved. And you paid $15 to save $250. So all you're doing is you're just trading money for time. And you know that your time is worth a certain amount, so you're just trading it profitably. So that's just one thing. Now let's say you spend 5 hours per week doing client reports. So you could just get the VA, document what you do, put it in Notion, add some points, and then give it to them. And now you save 5 hours per week again, $250 for $15, and then it's, you're getting yourself out of it. And then what you're going to find is that you're going to keep doing this. You're going to keep getting yourself out until there's no more tasks to do. So this is what I help all of my clients in the program with right now, which is obviously signing clients, booking meetings. That's probably the easiest part, just like add an extra 20K. But then it's scaling beyond that, because this is where most people mess up. So once you get to 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, how do you add another 50K without the whole thing breaking? So if you want more info on that, you can just click the link in the description. But besides that, once you start getting yourself out of things, once you start documenting, you get someone else in. And the key point, the next point, is that you're hiring not to solve, but to do. So when I was first starting in business, I used to think that when you hire someone, you need to get someone who's experienced, you need to get someone who's done this before, and you need to pay like $2,000, $3,000 a month for high quality talent, and that's the only way you could do things. But in reality, what I learned when I was thinking about this from first principles, I was thinking, what do I actually need this person to do? And in most cases, if you're running an agency below like 100K, you just need them to click some buttons, man. Like that is literally it. Like onboarding, like set up this thing, set up the ads manager, put this in here. Like, bro, it's really not that complicated. Same for like searching leads or doing reporting and all these things. It's actually very easy. Sending outreach messages as well. So you're not hiring so that someone can figure out what to do. You're actually just hiring someone to click buttons. And because of that, it means that you don't need to hire high-level talent. So even at our stage now, where we're looking to near 7 figures consistently, we still have one $300 per month VA. Like we pay them around $300 to $500 every single month, and all they're doing is just clicking buttons. Like it's really not that complicated. So the major bottleneck, the major reason why people can't actually get out is because they don't document what they're doing. They don't turn on the screen recorder to do the tasks that they're already going to do. And they think it's some big task that's super difficult to do, but in reality, it's really not. So they do that, you document it, and then you just get someone else in. And over time, you just give them tasks to do as soon as you document it. So over time, you're just going to have less and less things to do. They're going to have more. If you need more help, you just get another one. And they're going to be doing all the work while you just do the key things that you want to focus on, which could potentially be sales calls, which could potentially be not even sales calls. You could just get a sales rep, but that's another thing. But regardless, you could be out of everything. You could just stay in delivery, whatever you want to do. And essentially what you're doing is duplicating what you did for one client across every single other client. And that's essentially what business is. You solve the problem once, and now you're just solving it consistently across many other people. So honestly, by just following this, by finding a proof of concept, and then by duplicating this proof of concept across multiple clients, by hiring key team members to follow exactly what you're doing, this is how you scale. Like, this is it. So I hope this video helped. And if you want more information on how I can work with you one-on-one to help you implement all of this for yourself, you can just check the description and find the time below.